Hello everybody, it is Saturday the 12th of March. I was thinking this morning about Lazarus, the story of Lazarus. And again, coming out of the overall thought of good and evil, and how does what Jesus taught, which was taught, knowledge that was given out of love and compassion, how that would create the book of Revelation, which is full on destruction. So we must see, because if you go straight up, with love and compassion, it should lead you to a good outcome. But, so he must have deviated at some point from the path in order to create that outcome, which is captivity, which is being ruled over, which is destruction to anybody who disagrees. And look at this world, we're going there. Yeah, and it's not that Christians are completely bipolar. They're seeing it happening in this world. Something is trying to have dominion over us all. Something is trying to tell us what to think and what to do. And something is counseling anybody who goes up against it. Yeah? So it's happening in this world, and we instinctively know that as evil. But yet, if it's written in the book, where you are actually detached from, you're reading a story, you're just in your head. And all of a sudden it becomes good. And it doesn't. It doesn't become good. It's just you don't look at the story with your full body. That's all. It's still evil. Anyway, so how do we get there? And that is the way of the cross. And the way of the cross is the path. The path to hell that is paved with good intentions. So looking at the story of Lazarus, and there you can see it very clearly how the whole thing went belly up, or why the whole thing is going belly up. And that is this. When Jesus went to resurrect Lazarus, he was using this machine that were in the body. He was using the emotions, compassion. He was using the fact that in this body he was connected to everybody else. So he was connected to Lazarus. He was connected to the sisters of Lazarus. He had feelings for them through those connections that we naturally have. So it produced in him a wave of compassion, which is a human reaction to what was happening. And on that he put the knowledge of ask and know it will happen, and it will be given. So where then is the deviation that will lead to hell? He didn't do it for Lazarus. Nor did he do it for his sisters. And he didn't do it for himself, because for myself I ask nothing. If this were to glorify the Father, if this were to glorify the intention, him whose works I'm doing, let this be. It was to glorify him that would come to have dominion over this world. It was to give to the path that would lead to something coming to rule over us, so that we would no longer be free. That was the overriding intention. He did not do it for Lazarus, nor did he do it for his sisters, and he deliberately let Lazarus die. That's another thing. Because he was told days before that Lazarus was very sick and he could have made it in time, and he deliberately did not do it. He let him die. so he could use that circumstance to further the intention. He let that family go through that suffering deliberately to further the intention of him that would come to have dominion. So it is not in the act, not even in the intention of now, but it is in the further afield, higher intention that creates the outcome. So then what do we do if we ever can get to that point where we know that we will be given, that we are being given, according to what we think, according to what we know? So then first of all, we must change our thinking. We must change that which we know. We must change what we know as good and evil. And if you look at that story correctly, and not repeat after me with the parrots, oh, he glorified God, how wonderful. And he will come to rule over us, how wonderful. Although in this world and in this time, you would know that as evil. But there you glorify it for some reason. I mean, Jesus himself glorified it. To him, that was good. Well, I mean, again, look at the outcome. What did he actually achieve for himself? Because he's bringing a kingdom that will rule over us. And he's made himself second in chief in command. He's sitting on the throne. He elevated himself to the throne. So who is he doing all these things for? For us? Look at this world. If somebody did this in this world, do you think he's doing it for you? Or would you say he just got a cushy number for himself? But of course, if it's in the book, it's different. It's not. It's not different if it's in the book. It's still the same thing. It walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck. It is a duck. Trust me. So, for ourselves, then it all has to be one. So if we go the way of compassion, and if we get to the point where we can actually know that we will be given, that we are being given, then the compassion we feel for that person, what we ask for that person, should actually be for that person and not for something else, because it is what we're asking for that will create the outcome. So we ask for the person because we love that person and for no other reason, no greater intention, just that. And then the outcome will be just that. Because at that moment, when Jesus resurrected Lazarus and he gave him back to his sisters, that was the greatest thing that could have happened at that moment, could have happened to Lazarus' friends, to his sisters. Don't know how Lazarus himself felt about that, but I mean, on the whole, we want to live. So he was probably no different. But that was it. That was it. That was what could have been given at that moment, and it was the greatest thing. Attaching it into or make it in service of something else does not make it greater, did not make it greater. What was great happened at that moment. So there's where our intentions, what we're asking for, what we know, all must be one, and it must be concentrated just on that moment, without, as I said, making plans for the future or whatever that it should serve. So there you have it. And really, as I said, we receive according to what we know, according to our perception of ourselves and the world around us. And the way the story is told gives us the completely wrong perception. We're going toward the book of Revelation, and we're howling and screaming and wondering why, yet we run into the church and it is glorified. The way to it is being glorified, and we're doing it. So it is completely bipolar, unless we get it right. And what spoke through Jesus, when it said, those that lead into captivity will go into captivity. And all the other things, what spoke out of him was the truth. It was actually speaking to him in the first instance. It was talking to him. And he just took the knowledge of what he could do. But, those that go lead into captivity will go into captivity. The Spirit was warning him, was telling him, you are on the wrong way, and he didn't listen. He did not listen according to himself, what came out of his mouth. But we must hear it. And we must understand what he did. And we must understand that this is happening in the world right now. And we instinctively know it is evil. We are free things. We are born free. We die in captivity. We want to be free. We need to be free. We're fighting to be free. So then don't glorify, bring about something that will rule over you, because it will kill you. It will kill you. And it's not good because it's in the book and it's bad here. Anyway, I think I'll leave it at that, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.